So my alarm goes off the other morning, same time it always does, and I'm laying there for a second before I even really open my eyes. And I already know exactly how the whole day's gonna be. Not roughly, exactly. Because I get up, get dressed, head to the warehouse, get carts, come home, turn around, log into my second job, phone glued to my ear, emails, faxes, back and forth with insurance companies and members all day, then finally log off, eat something, sleep, and then do it all again tomorrow. Now, I didn't have to think about a single part of that. My body already knew the whole route before my brain even clocked in. But that's not really what got me though. Knowing my own routine like the back of my hand, that's just any day of the week. That's not really anything new. What actually got me was this. Somewhere along the way, as I was becoming a young adult many years ago, and even further into becoming an older adult, I felt like somebody was supposed to sit me down and tell me straight up, what you're experiencing right now, this small taste, this loop, this is gonna be your actual life. This isn't a stage you're passing through on your way to something else. This is the finished product. So whether you change jobs, whether you stay in this job, this is it. And nobody ever did that. Nobody ever told me that. And I bet nobody ever sat you down and told you that either. Because when I was younger, I always figured the grind was temporary. Like you push through this part, the hard part, and it's building towards something else. Some version of life on the other side where this loop finally breaks and the real stuff starts. That's kind of how it gets sold to you, even if nobody says it outright. You get through school, get through the entry level years, get through paying your dues, and eventually you land somewhere that isn't just wake up, work, sleep, and repeat. But you find out that's far from the truth. The rules of the game, they're not what we thought they were. And the thing is, I don't think this is just me. I think most of us got conditioned into this exact loop starting way before we ever clocked in anywhere. School teaches you to sit still, follow the schedule, raise your hand, don't question the bell. By the time you're old enough to actually pick a life, you've already been trained for years on how to be compliant inside somebody else's structure. So it isn't really a surprise that we grow up and slide right into working for somebody else's dream, building somebody else's company, hitting somebody else's numbers, while our own stuff just sits there waiting on a someday that keeps getting pushed back. And what's so crazy about this is that most of us have gotten shaped into this so early on and so smooth that we never even noticed it was happening. You remember The Matrix? That came out back in '99. I was a young adult around then, already working, and I remember watching it and just thinking how badass it was. Special effects like nobody's ever seen, that whole bullet time thing, guys in trench coats doing kung fu. That's all it was to me at that time, a cool sci-fi movie. And I completely missed whatever message was actually sitting beneath all of it, because I was too busy being impressed by how cool it looked. But now, all these years later, that scene where they show all those people just laying there, hooked up, being used as batteries to power the whole system while they're living out some fake little life in their head, that's our life. That's our life. Because you look around, you see it everywhere. People plugged into a system. People walking around, technically awake, technically alive, but there's nothing behind our eyes. We're zombies. Basically, we're dressed up, clocked in, going through the motions, but not actually living any of it. Not actually present for a single second of it. We wake up in the morning, sure, but we don't actually wake up. Most of us just haven't decided to take the red pill and actually wake up. Most of us would rather stay asleep. And I don't know why. Is it because staying asleep is just that comfortable? Or is it because we feel like there's no other way out? And here's what it actually is costing us. And I don't think that we even think about this as we go through our days, because it isn't just the hours at work. It's the time you don't get back with your family while you're clocked in somewhere else. It's the chance to actually love someone the way they deserve, instead of loving them on whatever is left after you're done giving your blood, sweat, and tears to someone else's bottom line. It's the version of your life you never even get to experience because you're in too deep paying bills and hitting quotas. Now, I was watching this show the other day, and this guy's talking about how his stepfather got really sick. And as he's rushing him to the hospital, his stepfather looks at him and says something like, "I regret working too much." Not, "I wish I'd bought more stuff." Not, "I wish I'd worked harder." "I regret working so much." And I can believe that's what he said. It's probably one of the most common things people say when they're right at the end, looking back at everything. And there's a reason for that. Because the regret is that they worked so much, and at the end of the day, it cost them so much too. It cost them moments with their families, their loved ones, their life. They lost out on their life because they worked so much. The reality is, nobody on their way out is wishing that they put in more hours at work. So I started thinking back on all the stuff I've done over the last 15, 20 years to try to break out of this loop. All the different things I've tried, these shiny new ideas I jumped into, thinking it was going to be the thing that gets me off this treadmill. And when I look back at it, I think a big part of why I kept jumping was that a part of me has always refused to believe that this loop is the actual destination. I still refuse to believe that it's the destination, and I treat it like it's a problem I just haven't solved yet. And now sitting here 50 years old, still within the loop, I gotta ask myself the honest question. I wouldn't be human if I didn't ask myself this. Is there actually a way out? Or am I chasing an exit that's not there? And I don't know the full answer to that. I really don't. But here's where my head's actually at. I don't think just waiting around, hoping things will change without ever doing anything about it is the answer. That's not really living. That's just a different version of stuck. So I haven't stopped chasing the exit. Honestly, I don't think I ever will. I'll probably continue chasing this exit till the day I die. My goal is to get off of this wage slave treadmill. But at the age of 50, I've had to find some balance in how I'm chasing it, because the truth is, I only have but so much time left. And I have to start using it wisely instead of just surviving through it. I mean, ask yourself, don't you wish, if you're my age, don't you wish that you would have looked at time the same way that you do now when you were younger, instead of waiting until now where we actually feel the weight of it? So these days, yeah, I'm still chasing the exit, but I am trying to do it with intention instead of just running at it blind. That means making sure I'm actually balancing my relationship with my wife and not just building some future together somewhere down the line, but actually living and enjoying the time that we have with each other right now. And it also means working these 2 jobs while still trying to find a way to earn some of my actual time back. Because right now, between the 2 of them, I'm basically working 7 days a week, and that doesn't leave a whole lot of room for much else. So the chase continues, and I just want it to look a little different than it has. So, what about you? Has your routine started to feel permanent as well? Like this is just your life? Let me know down in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.